so you have access to. Great. So we're going to really talk about planning your Giving Tuesday campaign, right? But before getting into that, want to talk about a concept called giving moments. What are these giving moments? And then we will think about how you can get ready for Giving Tuesday, which also happens to be a giving moment. We'll get into tactical steps about how you can set your goals, how you can put your team together, what type of campaign are you thinking about. So we'll really start thinking about this now, because we're in July. And this is a really good time to start thinking about what is it that you really want to do as your Giving Tuesday campaign. And then hopefully, if we have some time, we will stop for Q&A. But this is going to be a very interactive session. So please be prepared to respond to questions, put things into the chat box, because that's how it will be a meaningful session for all of us. Great. So with that, let's talk about giving moments. What are giving moments? So giving moments are basically any moment in time when a giver is really primed to do an act of generosity. That's what it means. But what research shows is that collective giving moments, where people are asked to do acts of generosity as a collective, seems to work much better than when people are doing this individually alone on their own, right? And we usually don't like drawing parallels with the commercial world, but just for sake of ease of understanding, think of how the corporate world has created their own moments, right? The retail sector. Think about the sale seasons that all these companies come up with. There's the end of season sale, there's Independence Day sale, which is going to come up very soon. There's Black Friday sale, Cyber Monday sale. There are so many sales that list is basically endless. But what the corporate world has realized is that the concept of sales, or them coming together to talk about the same thing over and over again, has more benefit to them individually than if they were doing it alone at separate times of the year. So they've really capitalized on this idea of moments when they can come together and pitch for what they want to do, which is basically sell more things. Now, if you think about this on the other side of the world, where we're trying to get people to do good and to do acts of generosity, we as change makers can create those moments for people around us, right? For givers to come together to do acts of generosity. But a lot of these moments already exist, okay? And can someone think of an example of a giving moment other than Giving Tuesday? Anybody, a giving moment, if you can put it into the chat box. Anukriti, yeah.
Yeah, I think the Danotsav is very famous in India. Like now, a lot of non-profits and corporates are very much they do it every year. So I think that could be a one example. I believe comes under the giving moments where collectively, as a community, they help for the development of a community in any way possible, whether it's something in cash or in kind. But so yeah.
Great. No, thank you so much for that example. That's a great example. And Doc has put into the chat box Diwali as well. And he said it's also a time when we give sweets and maybe cash to people around us. And it's a collective shared giving moment, because there's, almost all parts of India celebrate some Diwali in some form or the other. So these are both great examples. So think of other shared giving moments as well that we as change makers have also come together to create and spread generosity around us. And what we've seen from Giving Tuesday's example, because Giving Tuesday is also a shared giving moment, is that Giving Tuesday has inspired, the fact that a day like that exists has inspired a lot of people to actually start giving or be more giving. And a lot of people who gave on Giving Tuesday said that they gave because they wanted to be part of something bigger. They wanted to do good with a bigger group doing something that they were also doing. And those were some interesting learnings as to why shared giving moments are so important for us. And if you look at this year's calendar, this year's festive season in specific, you'll see that there are a lot of different types of giving moments that are really sticking next to each other, right? Here you can see it starts with the 2nd of October to the 8th of October. We have Tanutsav. Then we have, what Doc mentioned, Diwali at the end of that month. We have World Kindness Day on the 13th of November, several other important days like World Food Day, World Girl Child Day. And then it kind of ends with Giving Tuesday on the 3rd of December. And then, of course, we have Christmas and New Year as well. Now, wanted to show you this slide just to show you that there are these few months are actually really exciting because there are lots of giving moments stacked up next to each other. But giving moments for your cause can happen at any point during the year, right? Especially if you're working with one specific cause area, then the giving moment for that cause could also be a day around that cause. So, for example, if you're working towards supporting people with HIV/AIDS, then maybe the World AIDS Day can also be a giving moment for your cause or the work that you're doing. So giving moments can be different for different people, but what's interesting to see is that during this time period, it's very unique because there are so many different giving moments coming right next to each other. Now, what have we seen at Giving Tuesday working with these giving moments, right? Just a few things that we want to share with you. One of the things that we learned, and these things we learned because we do a lot of surveying with people who are givers and with nonprofits and with change makers. And what we realized is that generous people are generous. What that means is that people who have given to you once are more likely to give to you or to support your campaign, support your work again than a person who has never supported you before. And that's a very important aspect to think about as you start thinking about building your campaign and building your supporter group who's going to help you really put this together. The second most important thing is that people want multiple ways to give and to connect to a cause. And what you can see on this graph here is that people who only give money is actually the smallest group. So people who give in one form, that is either they give money or they volunteer or they give their skill, also most likely also gives in another form. And that's what we've really seen from speaking to givers in different parts of the world. So these are all some small tidbits to think about as you start thinking about how to design your campaign. How do I engage with givers? How do I want people to engage and do acts of generosity? Do I only ask people to give money? Do I want to engage people in other forms of giving, etc.? So just some things to think about. Like I said, we don't have a crystal ball which tells us exactly how people want to be generous, but we do a lot of surveying, and a couple more things that we learned is that most people, individuals, relate to causes and not necessarily to an organization. And people give with their heart. So 77% of the people that we interviewed for this particular survey said that they give with their heart rather than their head. And that's really something for us to think about in our communication when we want to start reaching out to people and engaging with them in our campaign, right? And the most important piece is that people want very simple ways to contribute and to give. And they want to be able to give in multiple ways and actually have a relationship with you and the work that you're doing, rather than, I'll come to you, I'll give you once, and then I'll go away. So these are some of the things that we found out through our research, and really some things for us to think about when we're thinking about designing our campaigns for Giving Tuesday. Now, one of the things that we often hear from people is that, especially from the nonprofit sector, is that these giving moments and even just asking for resources from people have become very competitive. Right? Because of that, people think it's extremely difficult. And the reason why people think it's competitive and difficult is because we believe that resources are finite in this world, that there's only a limited amount of resources in this world. People only want to give in one form, or people want to give only one. And people who give into one other person will not give to me. All of these are thoughts that we have. And there is actually a term for this, economic term for this. It's called the fixed pie fallacy. And what the fixed pie fallacy says is that resources are limited. But we all know that's not true, right? We work, a lot of us work as change makers, and we know that that's not true. We know that generosity can be expressed in so many different ways. We know that, we know that collaborating with another organization really can or with another person can really help us really increase the amount of support that we can individually get as two different projects. And we know that even money, which is what we use to calculate the amount of resources available is actually not limited in this world. It is actually abundant. And there are different ways in which you can really practice an abundance mindset in the work that you do. I'm happy to share more about that. But really want to say that days like Giving Tuesday and other giving moments are built on the belief that there are abundant resources in this world and that there are people who are generous and want to give more. We just have to create the opportunities for that. Any questions so far? Because now we're going to get into really creating your Giving Tuesday campaign. A question? I see that Mihika is here. Just want to quickly check with you, Mihika. Are you in a place to speak or do you want me to continue? Okay, I'm assuming that Mihika should continue. Okay, great. So let's get into creating your Giving Tuesday campaign. What is a campaign? Can anyone tell me what is a campaign? According to you, what is a campaign? There's no right or wrong answer here. What is a campaign? Anybody? Anyone? You can just unmute and speak if it's smallish group. According to you, what is campaign? Should I pick on people? रोशनी आप बता देंगे?
बिल्कुल कहना चाहूंगी। मैं कह रही थी जैसे कि मेरा ध्यान है आवाज आ रही है?
थोड़ा डिस्टरबेंस है रोशनी आपके पीछे। ठीक है, चैट बॉक्स में डाल दो। And Doc, I see that you had unmuted. Doc, you want to go? Doc, can you hear me? Okay, we'll wait for Roshni to put it into the chat box. And while she does that, a campaign essentially has a very specific goal, right? When you hear the word campaign, it sounds overwhelming, but it just has, it's something that has a specific goal. It could be for a specific project or a need and has a specific timeline. That's essentially what it is. And what really makes campaigns successful is the fact that it has that sense of urgency because it has a deadline. It has very clear goals and you can provide incentives for people to join you in the campaign that you're running. So even with Giving Tuesday, a lot of people organize campaigns around Giving Tuesday, around giving moments, whether it's for 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. They organize these campaigns because of the fact that it creates a sense of urgency and a clear goal. And then, of course, people choose to do these outside of these giving moments as well. You may start off with doing a campaign on Giving Tuesday, or you may end your campaign on Giving Tuesday for the different goals that you have as individuals. So the first step really, when you're thinking about the campaign that you want to run for Giving Tuesday, is setting your goal. And I know you're thinking, oh, it's July, we have so much time until Giving Tuesday, why am I setting a goal now? What we've really seen with research at Giving Tuesday is that community leaders and country leaders, Giving Tuesday leaders around the world, people who set goals in advance are more likely to achieve those goals than people who don't set any goals and don't really plan in advance. So just letting you know, this is just a good time for you to start thinking about it. Doesn't mean that the goal you set today is the goal that you want to stick to, in a few months, but it's a good time for you to start thinking about what is the goal I have for my Giving Tuesday campaign. So with that, I'm going to ask you a question. What are you hoping to do for Giving Tuesday this year? Anybody wants to unmute? And again, this doesn't have to be a clearly thought out goal. It can be a simple goal you have in your mind. and I can tell you my goal is to get primary school children and kindergarten children to donate books to government schools and homes, children's homes. That's my goal. What are you hoping to do for Giving Tuesday this year? Let's take a minute. You can put it into the chat box or you can unmute and speak. Radha, can I hear from you if you don't mind? Since since Manzil Mystics did a really good campaign last year, do you have a new goal for this year?
I'm actually out buying veggies and listening to you.
Okay.
There will be some background noise.
No worries.
I just finished office. I think we will stick with the same. We want to get more instruments for children, since this rain monsoon actually destroyed 50 of the instruments we bought.
Oh
And
my
I'm sorry,
gosh.
I'll mute now.
No worries, no worries. Thank you for sharing that. So Radha's goal is to get more musical instruments for children who are going to be part of either Manzil Mystics music programs or other music programs around the country. So that's her goal. Anybody else? What is your goal for Giving Tuesday? Satyam, can I call on you? Satyam, can you hear me? Okay. नीलम, आप बता देंगे? नीलम, what are you hoping to do for Giving Tuesday this year?
हेलो
हाँ नीलम.
मैम मैं टाइप कर दी हूँ चैट पे.
ठीक है.
हेलो
हाँ हाँ नीलम, ठीक है. We'll put it into the chat box. Lavanya, would you like to share what you're hoping to do for Giving Tuesday this year?
I'll put it in the chat box ma'am because I have lots of background voices.
No worries. Okay. Can I hear from? We'll wait for at least one response to come in the chat box. We'll wait. Or you can say something about it. And Hiral, Priyanka, Ragini, please unmute and say if you have a goal as well for Giving Tuesday this year. Priyanka, I see you unmuted.
I unmuted, but not to share a goal that I have, but more maybe to talk about some of the things that people did last year in case anybody needs some ideas. Oh, actually, I see Neelam has added something in the chat.
Huh. Badhiya. Thanks, Neelam. Priyanka, you want to share one of the things that you saw last year?
Yeah. So we've heard about what Manzil Mystics did, but I think on the other side, we saw something that Mumtaz did. I don't know, Mumtaz aap ho call pe? Nahi,
No.
Mumtaz basically decided she wanted to do something for Giving Tuesday, but she didn't know what. So she spoke to her friends and family, her neighbors, to ask them for ideas. And she liked the idea that her neighbor gave her, which is to go to the local old age home to see what help they needed. So she went and spoke to the director of the old age home, who said, winter's coming and we really need blankets. Now, Mumtaz could have gone off and organized buying the blankets herself. But instead, what she did is that she went to a local businessman and spoke to him about generosity, Giving Tuesday, how important it is for communities to come together and to express their generosity. and inspired this gentleman so much that he actually bought the blankets and went with her to distribute them to the old age home.
Thank you, Priyanka, for sharing that. I mean, so, if we were to ask Mumtaz this question last year, she would have said, I'm hoping to support an old age home. That would have been what she was hoping to do if we had asked her maybe in July last year, right? Okay, Lavanya says to create an equality which we required in all the vulnerable people, including transgender and also prostitute women, and provide for their requirements. Okay. Kiral, would you like to share your goal?
Yeah, I haven't thought it through, but I
That's
would
fine.
love to work with local businesses or local chains. It could be a restaurant chain or a dessert chain like Theobroma, for example, and get their employees to activate in some way. It could either be, or it could either be something related to, distributing the desserts to their local NGOs or shelters, or yeah, something on those lines, but engaging the employees of a local chain, because I would love to work with businesses, because they do, I feel like if they get the opportunity, they are very interested in participating in an activity like that, and also very enthusiastic. So I would love to talk to them in advance and see what idea we could come up with and how they'd like to participate on Giving Tuesday.
Great, thanks for sharing. So Hiral basically wants to engage with the business community and get the employees of the businesses to do acts of generosity. That's your goal. And Ragini says she's hoping to get her community to come together to clean up outdoor public green spaces and beaches. Excellent. So thank you all for sharing. So just start thinking about what you're hoping to do for Giving Tuesday this year. And what all of us shared so far are really good broad goals, right? And one of the really important things when you're thinking about a goal for anything in life, especially for Giving Tuesday, is to try and make it a SMART goal. What does that mean? Your goal is specific, right? That means you're really trying to do one specific thing. So in my case, I'm trying to get children to donate books. That's how mine is specific. In Hiral's case, she's trying to get businesses to engage their employees. Then it needs to be measurable, right? In none of our goals, we've given some indicator. So there's no number attached to it. So if you can make your goal measurable, then you will know whether you actually succeeded or not in the end. So this is something just for us to think about. So in my case, I would say I'm going to get 100 children in my city to donate books. That could be how I make my goal measurable. The next one is aspirational, right? Is your goal aspirational? And this is something for each of us to think about, because it has to be exciting for us. It shouldn't be too boring, right? And if your goal will be exciting only if it is aspirational for you, but at the same time, realistic, right? If I say I'm going to get 1 lakh children to donate books in my city, that might really scare me with that big goal. It might be a great goal, but I might get scared and then not do it at all. So I want my goal to be realistic, but at the same time, aspirational and exciting for me. So I might say 500. Okay, let's keep it aspirational. 100 is too easy. Maybe I'll get 500 to 1,000 children to donate books. Then the next thing to think about, is it relevant? Is it relevant to where you are in life right now? Is it relevant to what you are passionate about? What you really want to do as an individual is something, again, for you to think about. And the most important one is if it is time bound, and that's how you really create a campaign, right, around the goal that you're doing. So your goal also needs to be time bound. So your goal could be saying, I'm going to do this on Giving Tuesday, the day. I'm going to get 500 children to donate books on Giving Tuesday. So it's time bound because in that 24 hours, I'm going to get 500 children to donate books. But you can also say, I'm going to do it from 1 week before Giving Tuesday till Giving Tuesday. Or you can say from Giving Tuesday till the end of the year. Or you can say, I'm going to start from Danutsav all the way to Giving Tuesday, right? So you can really make your goal time bound based on what is realistic for you and what makes sense for you as the person who's leading this campaign. So make sure that your goal is specific, it's measurable, it has some number attached to it, it's aspirational, but realistic, it's relevant for you and for what you're passionate about. And at the end, it's time bound, right? So just to give you some examples, for some of you, it might be engaging youth in acts of generosity. That could be your broad goal. And if you were to convert this into a SMART goal, it could look something like this. This is only an example for you to see, is engage 10,000 youth in acts of generosity through a school campaign in the week leading up to Giving Tuesday. So you can see that it's a specific goal because you're engaging youth in acts of generosity. It's measurable because 10,000 youth. It's aspirational because 10,000 is a big enough number, but I may be someone who has access to a lot of schools. So it's realistic for me. It's relevant for me because I work with young people. And it's time bound because I'm saying in that week of Giving Tuesday, I'm going to be doing this. My goal, SMART goal could also be, I'm going to get 5 universities to celebrate Giving Tuesday as a volunteering day. That's my SMART goal. So let's take the goal that Hiral has put out, right? The broad goal. This is very similar to her goal, which is get our community or customers to contribute towards a cause. She had said employees, but imagine you're a business or you want to work with businesses and get them to do acts of generosity. If this is your your broad goal, your SMART goal could look like these. These are just examples, not indicating anybody should do it. But if you get inspired by this, please feel free to pick this as your goal. But one way to do it could be get 5,000 customers or community members across India to give 100 rupees each towards a cause which is selected by the employees for that branch. So say it's a restaurant or a coffee shop with many branches. This could be your SMART goal. Or I could say as a business, I'm going to close all our shops for half a day on Giving Tuesday to enable 200 of my employees to contribute 5 hours of volunteering at a local charity that they choose, right? So if you want to engage with businesses on Giving Tuesday, or if you are a business yourself, you run a business or you're part of a business, these are also some goals that you can think about. Again, these are only examples of how you can take the SMART goal you have created, the broad goal you have created and convert it into a SMART goal. So we'll take 1 minute to do this. I won't spend too much time, but can you think of the goal that you thought about, right? And convert it into a SMART goal. And if you want to change your broad goal now, you can totally do this. This is only a practice. It's only an exercise for us to do together as a group. Again, we are in July only. So this is a great time for us to start thinking about it. Doesn't mean that this is exactly what you have. If you say it today in this call, this is exactly what you have to do for Giving Tuesday. Nothing like that. This is an opportunity for us to share together openly as a group. So let's take a minute, take our goal and convert it into a SMART goal. I'll also think about mine. Either you can, when you're ready, you can put it into the chat box or you can unmute and speak. Anukriti, are you feeling ready? Can I pick on you?
Yeah, no, I just need a minute.
Yeah, take your time. Take your time. If anybody is feeling ready, you can unmute. Hiral, are you feeling ready?
I actually love the ideas that you already gave.
You can take it, no problem.
Yeah. Let me think about it. Give me 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I can take a shot.
Yeah, go for it, Ragni.
Okay, so as specific, I think instead of, so my goal overall was to get my community to come together to clean up shared green spaces and beaches. So I live in Goa, and so beaches are obviously top of mind for everyone who lives there. And it's one of the areas that gets the most polluted. So there are plenty of existing initiatives to clean up beaches around the state. What I can do is probably mobilize my specific community of friends and my kind of broader networks in my part of Goa. So I know there are some beaches that are given less attention. So maybe specific, and to be specific, I could say I'll focus on beaches in a particular part of North Goa that I know don't have other initiatives. Maybe I'll pick 1 or 2. Measurable is to do that, I'll pick, say, 2 beaches, and I'll try to do 2 cleanups in that one day. So
Mhm.
to avoid the hot hours of the day, maybe one early morning and then one in the evening, to get 2 different groups of people to come together. And I can shoot to get at least 20 people in each one. Aspirational, I think, I don't know if 20 people is aspirational, maybe more than that is possible. I think 2 beaches in one day is already probably aspirational enough for my current capacity. I think you'll have to remind me just quickly what that
Relevant. Is it relevant
relevant.
for you? I think
Yeah,
you
so this
explained that.
feels actively relevant for me because my community spends a lot of time in these spaces and we benefit from
Yeah.
it. So I do think it's relevant for everyone who I would be talking to about it. And time bound, I think keeping it to that one day will keep it kind of limited to one interaction, but hopefully there's the potential to do more of those things in the future. So I hope that.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, it's simple and easy, and the way you've explained it was great. Thanks, Ragini. I can see Mukti has put into the chat box as well what her overall goal is. And Mukti, if you wanna just try and see how you can convert this into a SMART goal, not sure if you were there for that first part. Think about how you can make this overall goal that you've said of collaborating with schools and colleges and encouraging students to donate various items like books, clothes, stationery, etc. If you want to make it smart, so think about how it's going to be specific, how it's going to be measurable, and primarily time bound. Think about that as well and put it into the chat box. Anukriti, are you feeling ready, or anyone else? Roshni, if you can speak. We'll hear from one more person. Doc, are you there? Are you in a position to speak? Is this feeling difficult?
It's not feeling difficult. Sorry, I can speak, but I don't have
Yes.
a goal.
Okay. So this is a good time for you to start thinking about your overarching goal as well. So just think about it, Doc. It's just a prompt for you to just start thinking about your broader goal, whether it's engaging with youth or whether it's engaging with nonprofits. What would you like your goal to be and how you really want to convert it into a SMART goal? Lavanya says by taking support of interested people, adding in a team, working on targeted people, and building ideas to get smile from. Thanks for sharing that, Lavanya. So just think about how you want to turn what you've said into a SMART goal, right? So see how you can make it a little more specific, what exactly you're going to do. Because last time you did something excellent in 2022. You got your community together to collect. You firstly went and checked what the community needed in a smaller area in Bangalore. You realized that it was stationery, and then you went out, collected stationery, and then with your friends and other young people at Dream a Dream, you went and donated and contributed those stationery items to people in that community, which was excellent, right? Is there a goal like that you want to create for this year? Is something to think about.
Yeah, mom. Yeah. Why? Because like we have seen everywhere, like we are in equality, but somewhere we are not targeting them, and we are not treating them as equal as we are. So somewhere like treating them and creating some space with some few individuals that can also change in the society that we can bring, and also by providing their needs which we can. So somewhere we can work on them, and also like it will be the new thing which we can do. That's my idea, mom.
Okay. And maybe you're thinking about something around raising awareness and fulfilling needs of people from vulnerable communities. Is that,
Yes, mom.
could that be your goal? Okay, great.
Yes,
Now,
mom.
what I'll encourage you to do is next step is make it smart, which means try to think about specific numbers, right? So I want to reach out to certain vulnerable communities. You can maybe find out which community you want to work with. And then you can say, I want to touch the lives of 100 people, or I want to get 100 people to volunteer to contribute items. That can also be your goal, right? So think about how you want to convert that overall goal that you have into something smart. And the reason why I'm saying this is what will really push you to take action and help you really get to your action plan. It's great to have broader goals, but we need to start also thinking about how we make it smart. Great. So I hope I have driven the point home of why goals are so important for the campaign that we're doing. So this is a great time for us to start thinking about it. And the next step really for us is to start planning our campaign, right? Is there anyone who was not part of the ACE ideas, the movement building session that we did last time? Or is there anyone here who was part of it? Anyone who was part of the movement building session we did last time, where we spoke about ACE ideas? Would anybody else like to share what ACE ideas mean? Anybody remembers what ACE ideas are? Nobody remembers ACE ideas? Okay, no worries. I will do a quick refresher for everyone. And I will make it super quick and easy so that you can start thinking about your ACE ideas or just generally ideas after this. Essentially, ACE ideas are ideas that really can help you make the idea that you come up with. If you can make it ACE, which is actionable, connected, extensible, there's more chance of that growing and scaling and going beyond what you are doing yourself. Okay, so what that means is, firstly, your idea, the idea that you come up with, needs to be actionable, which means there is a specific action that you are asking people to take. In my example, my action is I am getting children to donate books. Okay, I might add a little bit of extra connection to it, saying it's going to be a book swap. Okay, I'm going to get primary schools and kindergartens to organize book swaps, where every child brings 2 books. That's the action they need to take. 1 book can be given, can be taken by another child who has also bought 2 books. And the second book can be collected and given to a government school or a nearby home for children, right? So that's the action I want children to take, is bring 2 books. I want all children from 5 kindergartens and primary schools to bring 2 books each for this campaign that I'm running. Then I want to make my campaign or idea connected, right? Connected means you're able to really help the people you're getting the people who are part of your campaign to connect with others and spread this idea. So what I could say during the campaign, as part of my campaign, is all the children who are part of these 5 schools, go and now talk to other children in your apartment, in the van that you come in, or in your family, and get their schools to run the same campaign. And that's really how you make it a connected campaign, right? You're connecting it. If you remember the ice bucket challenge from many years ago, I don't know how many of you remember it. The connected piece there was getting everyone to go to the internet and tag someone else, saying, I poured a bucket of ice on myself, or I donated to the ALS challenge, and I am now tagging you to go and do it. And that's how they made it connected. So think about how you can make your idea connected. And the next one is extensible, which means adaptable. So in my case, if someone else wants to do this, I take my idea, they can say, I don't want to do books because that's not relevant, but I love your idea. I'm going to take it and make it about clothes for children, or I'm going to make it about toys for children, or I'm going to make it about nutritional food for children, right? So anyone else can take my idea and adapt it to make it their own. That's what the meaning of extensible is. So ACE ideas are basically ideas that are actionable, connected, and extensible. Anybody has any questions or thoughts on this? Nope. Okay. Great. So Priyanka, I'm going to ask you to create some breakout rooms for us, if that's possible. We're going to pair up. Is there anyone here who is unable to unmute? Because that would be a problem for this exercise. Or maybe we just stay in the main room. Let me see how many people are there.
Kavita, you might need to make me co-host.
Okay. So Doc said, the ice bucket challenge became rice bucket challenge in India, right? And that's how it became extensible, because people took that idea and said, actually, this is not relevant for India, but food insecurity is a problem here. And we need to make rice more accessible. And they made a rice bucket challenge where you donate a bucket of rice. So that's how the ice bucket challenge became extensible, right? Now, you don't have to think about your ACE idea right now. Think about any campaign idea that you have. Think about your broader goal, your SMART goal, and what is the campaign idea I have, right? Maybe we can make, Priyanka, so Hiral says we have about 8 of us. Maybe we can have 4 breakout rooms. You can see actually what makes sense. I'll just say that Jyoti and Anushka are interpreters, so they should just stay in the main room. So what we're going to do now is we're going into breakout rooms. You will be put in pairs or threes where you just think about it. It doesn't have to be a full idea. It's just an opportunity for you to share your thoughts and feelings with someone else who's also thinking about a campaign for generosity this year, right? So think about it, share it with that other person, get feedback from that person, and then you listen to what the other person has to share about their campaign. We'll take about 10-15 minutes to do this and then come back into the main room. Priyanka, yeah.
It's taking a little bit of time.
That's
2 to 3 people per room?
Yeah. Oops.
And sorry, just tell me again who needs to stay in the main room?
Anushka, Jyoti, and me.
Okay.
So take this moment while Priyanka is creating the breakout rooms, is just start thinking about what is it that I want to do for Giving Tuesday this year? How do I make it into a goal? How do I make it into a SMART goal? What kind of a campaign idea can I think of? You heard from some of us here already about some ideas we have. Think about what idea you want to do.
Okay, we're ready. So let me know when I should broadcast.
Yeah. Start. You can start. I feel like some people have already started leaving into breakouts.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I think we lost Mukti and Radha.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's fine. Oh, sorry. You need to remove Srinidhi. It's okay. Let Srinidhi be there. It's fine. Priyanka, do you mind going into room 3?
Yeah, I was just going to do that. Ragini is also on her own in room 4. So maybe I'll move her to room 3 as well.
Great. Okay, Mukti and Radha are back.
Yeah. And I'm just going to move Zaved to room 2, maybe. Oh. Yeah. Okay.
Roshni is also here. I'll do it. I'll do the rest. Don't worry. You can go to the room. रोशनी आपको एक ब्रेकआउट रूम जाना है अभी. Okay, she's gone. Anushka and Jyoti, we can take a 10-15 minute break. So Anushka and Jyoti, if you want to join a breakout room, let me know. I can also add you in case you want to just listen or share if you have ideas for Giving Tuesday. Or you can just take a break. I'll add you, Anushka. Hold on. Great. Welcome back, everyone. We'll just wait for the others to join as well. Hope we've got enough time to just go around the room. Okay, great. Everybody back? People are missing. Room 2 is still very busy talking. Can see that mother is talking. Oh, Neelam is still in room 3. How do we get her out? Ah, okay. She'll be back.
You want to just close all the breakout rooms? Huh?
Yeah, close. It's close. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Hope you had a great conversation. Hope you at least had time to go around the room. Sorry, I had to keep it a little short. Yes, Madhura saw that you were enjoying the session. Thanks for sharing that you loved it. Great. So we won't go around all the breakout rooms, but if any 2 people want to share, what idea either you came up with or you heard from someone else, if you want to just share it with the larger group, we can do that now. Any 2 people want to share either the idea that you thought of or the idea you heard someone else share? Anyone wants to share? Anukriti, Mukti, Neelam, can I call on one of you? Either the campaign idea you came up with or what you heard about. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're only in July. We have a lot of time to think through it, flesh it out, and really make it a good campaign. But would love to hear some initial thoughts. Nobody wants to share?
Can I say?
Yes, Anukriti, go for it.
Yeah. So I was sharing with Hiral about so what happens every year the Manipur and in Assam their families go through with disaster like every year in Assam. I mean, I was discussing my idea for the organization level. So every year we do a lot of work to help these families who are affected because of hailstorm or floods, and lot of generous or compassionate individuals participates. So even this year also we are planning for the same, where we wanted to provide these individuals who are the families majorly who have flood affected families who need a very lot of support in terms of health support, food, or because what happens due to this hailstorm and flood, they have been through like with a very challenging time, their house being destroyed, and because of that their hope also got shattered everywhere. So we plan to we connect with communities, a lot of individuals where we receive supports through them, and do a relief support where we contribute these families with the proper health support, give them the proper awareness, health awareness, and also provide the food to them. And so this year, with this idea of Giving Tuesday, and there's some similar platforms like Women's like Giving Tuesday, we were thinking to receive a lot of supports for these families. It can be in any term, but I think that's the time when people understand it, because it's a huge level of impact in these families. And so yes, so I was, this is my idea I was sharing with Hiril, that we were looking forward to actually receive supports, or just letting people that how this disaster and this can be very impactful in these individuals, and we need their support in any which way possible. So
Okay.
yeah.
No, thanks so much for sharing that, Anukriti. Great. I like that you have a broad goal for your campaign at the moment. What I'll encourage you to do is really start thinking about how you want to convert that into a SMART goal. So just think about, how you want to make it a little more measurable and, what is the timeline during which you want to run this campaign. And then you can also start thinking about how you want to make this ACE. And we are around to help you brainstorm on that. Don't worry about it. But, to make it really effective, if you think about it as an ACE campaign, that's when you can really make it scale and go beyond just you, right? And your organization. So think about it, and we're also happy to help you brainstorm.
Sure.
We can take some time for one more person. We're a little short on time, but if one more person wants to share, you can share anything that you heard or an idea you thought of. Anybody feeling inspired to share? Okay. No worries. We will move on because we have a lot to cover. Yeah. So the next thing really for you to do is to work backwards from December 3rd, right? So December 3rd is Giving Tuesday this year. And if you're planning to do something for Giving Tuesday this year, you have to think about, okay, if I need to achieve this goal and run this campaign by December 3rd or from December 3rd, what do I need to really do to make my campaign successful before that? We have a toolkit in place, which Mihika will share with you post this training session. But just to give you some ideas of some sample actions that you can start thinking about. And a very small sample template is, firstly, you need to think about, who's going to help you run this, right? In your team, in your organization, or in your family, right? Then you need to have like a kickoff meeting. You need to set some goals. You need to divide your teams to be able to do different tasks. You need to create a brand for your campaign, maybe. So I can call mine maybe a swap a book campaign. Think of something more creative. I need to identify ambassadors who are going to support me in marketing this campaign. So these are just a list of sample action ideas for you. You can take the toolkit will be shared with you, so you will have access to this. But really thinking through what other action items is relevant for my campaign, and you can add it here. This is just an example that we have shared. You can go ahead and add other things here and also put deadlines for each of these. That will also help you push yourself to take action. One more column you can add here is basically who's going to do this, who's going to be in charge of each of these action items. That's also something for you to think about, right? So this will be your next step once you come up with your campaign idea. Just want to remind you that in August, from the 19th to the 23rd, we will have some open hours, which means you can have one-on-one conversations with any of the Giving Tuesday members here. Primarily Mihika and me. So Mihika will share a link with you so you can block time. So if you want to brainstorm with us with the idea that you have, it doesn't have to be a concrete idea. You have a small idea, you want to brainstorm, you want someone to talk to about it, we are available. So do remember to block time with us in the month of August. So just think through it. So you have another month to just start thinking about all of these things that we've shared so far. And the first action step you saw on that list was really to organize your team, right? And one thing to really mention here is that you don't have to do this by yourself. You shouldn't be doing it by yourself, right? You can be leading it, but you really should inspire and encourage other people to join you and to co-own this campaign with you, right? So you need to really start thinking about who are these people who I can invite to join me in making this campaign successful. So how do I create my team? Some of you may have done this exercise with us or outside before, called network mapping. And many times we've run this network mapping exercise for resource mobilization purposes. But here now we are going to think about how do I build a team from my network, from the network of people that are closest to me. How am I going to build a team that's going to own this campaign with me and make it successful? Okay, so we'll do a very, very quick network mapping exercise. We won't spend too much time on it. I only want to show you how to do it so that in the next 1 month, you can start thinking about your network and who's in there so that you can start building your team, right? So who is in your network really? If you start thinking about the people you are close to, you have your family and your friends, You may know other youth, you may know youth in your network, you may know youth in your community, in your neighborhood. Maybe you're in an organization that had volunteers in the past, so your past volunteers could be in your network. You may be in a school or a college or working in an organization. So if you're in a school or college, it could be your friends, your batchmates. If you're in an office, it could be your colleagues. If you're working for a company or an organization, your company could have partners, right? You could be having partnership with other companies. You could have, if you're an NGO, you could have partnership with other NGOs. There will be leaders in your community. There can be local government representatives. All of these are different networks that you could be connected to, right? That you have a close relationship with. If anyone thinks of another example of a network that you're part of or you're connected to, just put it into the chat box as well so we can all share and learn. But these are just some examples of networks that you are a part of and you are connected to, right? And what we're going to really do to start off with is think of 5 networks that you are a part of. I can see something in the chat box. School group, yes, of course. So, if you are currently in school or if you went to school in the past, then you will have a school group. A lot of us have WhatsApp groups that are very active with your school friends. So that's a great network. So think of 5 networks that you're a part of. If you can't think of 5, just think of 3. RWAs, Residents Welfare Association. Great, thanks, Madhura, for sharing that. Current and ex organizations. If you work with multiple organizations, then of course, that's also in your network. Think of 5 networks that you are a part of as an individual. I would say I am part of my apartment complex association. That's my network. My school group is a network for me. I am part of the NGO sector. So I have a lot of NGO friends, people who work in the NGO sector. So that's another network I have access to. I used to work in a bank before. So that is another network I'm part of. I live in a specific locality in Kerala. That is a community that I have access to. I go to the local sabzi wala, I go to the local ironing shop. All of that is part of my network. The school that my son goes to, all the parents in that school is part of my network. So think of 5 networks that you're part of. Thanks, Doc, for sharing as well. Family, spouses, friends, and colleagues. Yes, all of those are networks. So first is think about 5 networks you're part of. You can write it down on a piece of paper, put it on a Google Doc, whatever is comfortable for you. And then what we'll do is we will think about names of 5 people in each of these networks. Okay, just take down the steps so you can sit and do this, post this call since we're running a little short on time. But actually think about names of 5 people in each of these networks. You don't have to share it with us. It's for you to really just make a list of people. And right now, you don't have to think about how are they going to support you, how are they going to be a part of your campaign. Because remember, one of the biggest Giving Tuesday values that you would have heard us say multiple times is that everyone has something to give, right? And everyone in your network will have some asset that they can offer to your campaign. Don't think about that now. Don't stress about that now. Just think about the 5 people in each of these networks, right? Just write down their names. So I can write down names of 5 people from my school, 5 parents from my son's school, 5 shops in my neighborhood, 5 people who live in my apartment. I'm going to write down the names of 5 people. So you have 5 networks and 5 people under each of those networks. So by the end of this exercise, you should have the names of 25 people on your paper, right? And it could look something like this. You can do it however you want to do it, but it could look something like this. This is an example of how it could look. You could even draw boxes and write the names under that, under each box. And once you have the list of 25 people, I'm encouraging you to start thinking about it now. We won't do the full activity. Think about ways in which these 25 people can contribute towards running your campaign with you, right? So make the list first and then think about, okay, what can each of these individuals do to support my campaign? It could be that some of them will engage in the act of generosity. So I'll go back to my example, right? It's to get schools and primary and kindergarten schools to donate the children in that school to donate books. Okay, I want 500 children to donate books. What can I do with this network, right? With the 5 people I listed out in my apartment, one of them might have children in the same age range who might be going to another school. I can ask them to go and talk to that school, right? That's one way in which someone can contribute. Someone from my school group might be really good at graphic designing. I might ask them to help me create a poster that I can put out in different schools and colleges and in apartments. Someone else might have connection with a local government body representative. I might ask them to connect me with someone in the education department so that we can go and make donations in the government schools through that contact, right? So think about these 25 people and think about what is it that they can do to contribute towards your campaign. There are different ways and different assets people come with. So think about how each of them can contribute towards your campaign. And if you remember from past presentations, these are the 5 T's of giving that we talk about, is giving of time, talent, treasure, which includes money and things, ties, and testimony. So in my case, it could also be that some people have time that they can contribute. So they might come with me to go to each school and talk to the principals of that school to run this campaign. It could be like a graphic designer, someone who has a specific talent. It could be testimony, which means some people are going and talking about this campaign to other schools and other colleges and other apartments. So think about what is it that each of these 25 people are going to contribute towards running your campaign with you. And this is the best way to make sure that the pressure is off you, because remember, everyone has something to give and a lot of people want to contribute. They just don't know how to, they don't know where to give. And you're really creating an opportunity for them to be able to express their generosity, right? So ask people, talk to people and see how they'd like to co-create and co-own this campaign with you. And one quick tip, I mean, we will do a full communication session in the following months on, for how to really run your Giving Tuesday campaign and run a communication plan for that. But one great tip that we heard from, someone who used to work at Giving Tuesday before in our US team is that try and add Giving Tuesday to people's calendars. Many of you use Google Calendars. A lot of people who are working out of offices use Google Calendars. See if you can add Giving Tuesday to their calendar so that they remember that they are supposed to contribute towards whatever you had asked them to do. So say you're asking them, in the month of November, if you put it into their calendar for December 3rd, they will remember it's Giving Tuesday and actually do the thing that you wanted them to do in the first place. So this was a great tip that we got and wanted to just share it with you, but also just telling you that we will be doing a full communication session. Hopefully, all of you can join us for that as well. It should happen in the month of October. Great. So are you ready to run your Giving Tuesday campaign? Maybe not yet, but have you started thinking about it? I hope yes. And this is a great time for us to start thinking about it. And, what we really went through today is creating a goal for your campaign, thinking about how to make it smart, thinking about the campaign idea itself that you have, then thinking about, can I make it actionable, connected, extensible? How do I do it? Then we'll need to think about your month-by-month plan of how to make your campaign successful. What are the different things I need to think about every month? Who's going to be helping me do that? And then creating your core team that's going to co-own and co-create this whole campaign idea with you, right? So these are 4 simple steps you need to start thinking about in the next few months. Start thinking about it in the next month is what I would say. And then, we are available to brainstorm with you. You don't have to come with concrete plans. Think of us as your sounding board to really brainstorm and think through what your idea could actually end up becoming. Reminder again of the calendar set for the rest of the year. Like we mentioned, next month, we will have open hours. So block time with us if you want to speak and brainstorm. And then in the month of September, we will do a data and measurement session. Then we will have a marketing and communication session in October. Then we'll do some prep for Giving Tuesday because it's going to be 1 month before Giving Tuesday. We'll also have some more open hours at that point. And then it's the big day on the 3rd of December. So this is the calendar we have set. Can't believe we're already almost in August, and we have finished so many sessions together already. That's all really, and we are on time. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and see if anybody has any questions or thoughts. Any questions on what we shared? Is this sounding like something you want to do, you can do? Are there other steps we may have forgotten that you think you should think about? Any thoughts? How are you feeling? Are you feeling scared, nervous, excited, inspired? If you can leave one word in the chat box, that'll also be great. And then we can close with that. How about that? Yeah, why don't we all leave one word in the chat box? You can put it in Hindi or English or any language you like. And I will play some music for us. Yes, Mukti.
Sorry, I was on the way to home, so I couldn't ask. I just have two simple questions. One is
Yeah, sure.
how soon we can start up with our ideas, and the second is if we want to use the Giving Tuesday, and somewhere we are putting up, making up our banners or standee. So can we openly use Giving Tuesday's logo, and and of course we want to promote it. So what are all the procedures for it? So are we going to cover that in coming sessions, or is it like we can start doing it?
Love both your questions. Firstly, let me say that. First, to answer your first question, you can start right away, which is why we did this session now, to start thinking about it, brainstorming on it, and set your timeline, right? Then that will help you think about when you need to start your planning. So if you're saying you're doing it on Giving Tuesday the day, then we can plan backwards from there. If you're saying you're doing it for a full month, then we can plan backwards from there. So think about when you want to run this campaign, what is your campaign goal? And then you can think about when you need to start planning backwards from there. So think about these basic things, and we are again available to do one-on-one sessions with you next month. If you feel like that will be helpful. And to answer your second question, Giving Tuesday is a movement that is led by leaders like you. And everything that is created for Giving Tuesday is created openly. People have created it, and you will have access to all the logos and anything that you need in terms of tools to make your campaign successful. We are running a communication session in October, but if you need it before that, just email us and our team will be happy to send you links to all the open files that you can access. And the best thing is that you can be creative and you can change the logo around. You can change the colors. You can make it look how you think is best for the campaign you're running as well. So happy to help you think through that also.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Great. Anyone has any other questions, or has everyone put their word into the chat box, word, sentence? If yes, then we can close for the night. Thank you all for joining us. Hope this session was useful. And we have recorded it, so we can also send it to you if you want to watch it again at some point. Mihika will be in touch with all of you to set up one-on-one sessions for August. If that's of interest to you, do sign up for that as well. With that, we'll say thank you and good night and see you next month. And please reach out to us if you have any questions from now until August end as well. I'm going to stop recording.